My husband is against me going to work, but I don't want to sit at home. My husband is trying to convince me that I shouldn't work, because now I'm a mother and a wife. My job is family and home. I've never seen myself as a housewife. This image is not close to me. Besides, I love my job. I like what I do. I don't want to sit on maternity leave forever. A year ago, I gave birth to a child and went on maternity leave. The child was planned, wanted, so I went on maternity leave with a light heart and a firm belief that I would then return to my favorite job. You give birth first, sit out the maternity leave, and then think about returning to work. My husband laughed. Otherwise, she just went on maternity leave, and she's already planning how she'll return to work. We never even talked about me retraining as a housewife after the birth of the child. I don't think this work is shameful or anything. I just don't like spending time like this. It's not my type of character. I enjoyed messing around with the child, devoting all my energy to the house and the baby. Our baby is calm, so I managed to do a lot around the house. I kept the house clean, cooked dinner, and ironed shirts. You're my housewife. My husband smiled tenderly at me, coming home from work and kissing me and my daughter one after the other. Surprisingly, half of my maternity leave went perfectly. There were no tense relations with my husband or fatigue. Well, that is, there was the usual fatigue when you run around, but I didn't notice anything like that in a psychological sense. But the second half of the maternity leave was already more difficult for me. I started looking around to see if there was a possibility of sending the child to a nursery so that I could break out into operational space myself. The whirlwind of monotonous days irritated me. I wanted to get back to the work rhythm, where every day there are some new tasks. I shared my plans with my husband, but he did not support me. He said that the child was still too small to leave him with strangers. He simply advised me to unwind. Leave the baby with grandmas and go somewhere to rest, change the environment. I took his advice. It became easier for a while, but not so much. Within the confines of the apartment and the role of a housewife, I felt cramped and stuffy. I told my husband about this. He shrugged his shoulders and advised me to get used to it, because I was now a wife and mother. It sounded like a sentence from his lips. Wife and mother, life imprisonment within 4 walls without the right to amnesty. Laughter is laughter, but I took it exactly that way. We even had a few big fights. In the end, my husband said that I should sit out my maternity leave anyway, and then we'll see. Now it's clear that he just wanted to delay an unpleasant conversation. Besides, he spent the rest of my maternity leave trying to unobtrusively show me how wonderful it is to be a housewife and not go to work. But I wasn't sold on his ideas. A lazy and measured pace of life is not for me. I need to be in the center of events all the time, otherwise I feel like I'm being erased from life. Now my maternity leave is coming to an end, and the topic inevitably arises that my child needs to be enrolled in a kindergarten, and I need to prepare to go back to work. My husband resorted to his last argument. He said that if I'm so eager to get away from my family, then I don't need him or my daughter. He says that if I were interested in a family, I would have tried to stay home longer, watching my child grow up. But he says that strangers are more interesting to me than my loved ones. I understand that this is pathetic manipulation. I understand everything. But what should I do about it? Should I stick to my guns and escalate the conflict, hoping that my husband will give in? Or should I get a divorce because it turns out that we are different? My friends advise the latter. My mother advises the former. My mother-in-law doesn't see the problem at all. Stay home if your husband allows it.